Okay, so let's get started. Thank you so much for joining today. I know it's very late in the evening. So here's what we're going to do today. First, I'd love to know where you're joining from, and what are your expectations from this webinar. What I bring to the table is to discuss my 8-week mentorship program today, which is, something a lot of people have questions about. So I'm going to take you through my journey, the opportunity in the content writing space. And of course, there are a few people from my community who have been working with me for some time. So they're going to come and share their experiences to tell you about, uh, you know, how it is possible to make a lot of money from content writing. And then I'm also going to share the link to my 8-week content intensive. If you want to apply for the program, it's an application only program, so you can't just sign up for it. Once you apply, we are going to give you a call and see if our synergies align, and then see if you're a great fit and would you like to be a part of that, etc. Right? So I'm gonna start sharing my screen now and I'll take you through a presentation. But meanwhile, if you have any questions, please put them either in the chat or in the Q&A box. And I will leave a lot of time towards the end for you to ask me any questions that you might have about the program and as well as about content writing as a career, right? So I'll discuss all of that with you. Don't worry about it. First, what I wanted to say was, like in the presentation, what I want to take you through is some of the reasons why, a lot of people have been in the content writing space for a bit, but they're not able to make big money from it. And then what can you do to overcome that, right? So let me just start sharing and we will get started. Okay, I hope you can see my screen. Awesome. Great. If you can see my screen, just give me a thumbs up. Put that in the chat box. Awesome. Thanks, Abhishek. Brilliant. Cool. Everybody can see it. So let me get started. Cool. So what we are going to cover today is the secrets to earning a 7-figure consistent income as a content writer. And this is going to be a learning from others' experience, right? So I'm going to tell you what my experience has been like. And of course, some people from my cohort are going to tell you what their experience has been like, right? So these are real life examples. Folks have done it and so can you. And then I'm going to give you some insights on how do you get started on your journey as a highly paid content writer. So before we begin, just a quick question, and you can put it in the chat window. Only I can see the chat. So what is, and I know I don't usually go by a per word rate because I don't think it's a great metric, but it's good like in terms of comparison. So if you can maybe, okay, first question first. How many of you are new to content writing? If you're new to content writing, just say yes or me in the chat box. Okay. Lots of yeses coming in. Okay, just started. Awesome. Cool. So if you have more than a year of experience in content writing, can you put the number of years of experience you have in the chat box? A lot of people are just getting started or have done at school level. But if you have more than 1 year of experience in content writing, oh wow, we have folks with 10 to 15 years experience, 20 years, 4 years. Super. Uh, nice. Cool. Okay, so my next question then is for all of you, actually, if you don't have any experience or if you're just starting out, or if you have few years of experience under your belt, what is if you've got some projects and if you've tried working on maybe a couple of things, what is the rate that you're currently charging per word, right? Or even when you pitch to clients, what is the rate that you're currently charging per word? Can you put that in the chat window? So only I can see the rates, nobody else can. So feel free to put that, because then it gives me a benchmark of where we are and where we need to go, right? So just to give you an example, for some of my clients, I charge as much as 40 rupees a word, right? But it took me a while to get there. I'm going to tell you all that story as well. Okay, some of you are saying 2 to 3 rupees. Someone is saying 1 rupee, less than 1 rupee, 80 paisa per word. Yeah. Cool. So you will see some of these things getting validated as I go over this presentation, and you will also see how I reached the 40 rupees a word kind of a rate. And we will see. Yeah. Okay. So this webinar is for you if you are new to content writing and you don't know how to, oops, sorry, my bad. Yeah. So this webinar is for you if you're new to content writing and you don't know how to get started. So we'll address a bit of that. And if you have been a content writer for some time, like some of you said, but you're not able to break into the big leagues, right? And when I say big leagues, I at least mean between 5 to 10 rupees a word, right? So we are going to talk about some of those as well. Yeah. So when I started this community, right? The reason was that I wanted more people for my team to, work with me and get some, so I could expand my business and become more of a remote agency model. And I started getting into a lot of conversations with folks, right? And I'll tell you about that a little bit as well. So I realized when I spoke to so many content writers that what is it that we all want, right? We want to build a thriving, career as a content writer. That's point one, right? And that career should allow us to live the lives the way that we want. And that happens when we have a consistent income, right? How many of you have heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Anyone? If you've heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, just type yes in the chat box. Yeah. Yes, a lot of people have, right? So what does that tell us, right? It's a pyramid. For those of you who've not heard of it, it's a pyramid which says that your safety, security, the basic needs are at the bottom of the pyramid. And as those needs are met, you climb up the ladder till you reach a level of self-actualization where you're in a nice, safe, comfort zone. You're acknowledged by other people. You're in a very good space, and you can think about your purpose as a human being, right? But till the time your basic needs are met, everything else in the world is just, could go to hell. What you want is the food, shelter, clothing, right? That's very basic, and safety, right? Those are very basic human needs. So those are met when you have consistent income, right? And let's face it, without money, we are not really, in a very financially stable or in a safe space. So that consistent income becomes a baseline for us to actually live a good life. Yes. And a lot of people, when I talk to them about this, are like, you already come from a place of privilege, but I want to tell you that that's not the case. So I'll share a story of where I came from as well, right? So how many of you agree with the statement, what I'm saying, that, you want to build a thriving career as a content writer that allows you to live your life the way you want, like maybe travel, maybe, pursue a hobby or a passion with a consistent income, right? Type yes if you agree with the statement. Awesome. A lot of people are saying yes, yeah, agreed, absolutely. Super. So I'll cover that as well. Yeah. Cool. So I did a bit of digging because I like research and I like data and I like to not just make random statements, but I want to back them with some sort of fact. And this is, some numbers that I dug out, which is basically a last year report. And content writing globally is a huge, huge market, right? It's $584 billion that it will be in the just next couple of years, right? Which means it is several $100 billion already, right? And if you look at the number of blogs published every day, it's 7 million blogs, right? So someone is sitting and writing it. And again, we know that there are people who are content writers like us, and there are people who are business owners or leaders or companies who don't have time to do it by themselves, but they want somebody else like us to come and do this for them, right? Because content is super important for their business, and they're willing to pay for it. And there is, like you can see from the slide, there's a lot of volume and there is a lot of value, right? Value in terms of money that is being spent on content, and volume in terms of the sheer number of, like, this is just a number of blogs, right? Imagine the social media, imagine the other articles, the news kind of thing, the video scripts, emails, emails, the number in billions every day, right? Or landing pages or website pages. There is just so much need for content today. And every company is willing to pay for it in some capacity, right? And which also brings me to another inverted pyramid that companies have. But let me explain what this means in economic terms. How many of you are familiar with the basics of economics? Anyone? I know it's a strange technical ask, but if you are, oh yes, there are lots of people here who are. Super. Okay, so what is the basics of economics say? If somebody wants something, and this works in the case of gold, right, or precious metals, there are only so much of precious metals, like a fixed quantity, or not, I wouldn't say fixed, but like a certain quantity of precious metals available in the world. And therefore, the more people that want that precious metal, the more the price of the metal goes up, right? And that's why the gold price keeps increasing all the time. And that is where you say it's a seller's market, where demand is more than supply. That is, people want the thing more than people are available to sell. And therefore the sellers can quote their price, right? The sellers are able to say, hey, you know what, I'm only going to sell you gold for whatever, I know, 30,000-40,000 a gram, because there's only so much of it. So if I sell to you, I lose out for a cheaper rate. I lose out on the other opportunity where people are willing to pay me higher. That's what happens in auctions as well. So the good thing about content is that it is a seller's market, which means, and there's a caveat here, okay? The caveat is, if you're good at what you do, you can charge premium prices and still have work spilling over, right? And this is a big caveat, because today content writing has become a very crowded space. Very unfortunately, people who write product descriptions for, let's say, an Amazon or a Flipkart would also call themselves a content writer. Yeah. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with people writing product descriptions, right? But content writing is very different from just putting a string of words together. It requires a lot more in terms of thinking through things. Actually, it's about communication, right? What is the message that you're communicating? Are you able to communicate the client's intent, etc.? So there's a lot more than just knowing a language or writing, a perfect grammar in a language to become a successful content writer. So what has happened is that the bottom of the pyramid for content writing is full of writers who are charging low prices, and they are also present in all these platforms like Upwork or Freelancer or wherever, where they're bidding for projects. And clients, and in every company also there is a pyramid of, I'm sorry, there's just too much pyramid analogy here, but so every company in every niche will have certain content projects where they will pay premium pricing. Then below that, they will pay a moderate price. And then there's a bottom of the funnel content also, where bottom of the bucket content, where they just want to get like some quick and dirty work done, and they pay very low prices for those pieces of content, right? So to be successful as a content writer, you need to have several things in place. One, you should be good at what you do, right? So that's a non-negotiable. You should be able to find the right clients, and then you should be able to deliver value. So that's what we are going to talk about in the next couple of slides, right? So, like I said, um, while there's so much opportunity, like billions of dollars, millions of stuff getting published, still most content writers are stuck at 1 to 2 rupees a word, right? And this is again some data I picked up from the internet, which just shows, by years of experience, how much people are typically able to charge. And I also did a poll in my community, right? So I have this content writers community of over 20,000 people now. So I asked them, what are you earning nowadays? So 58% of them were at less than 2 rupees a word, right? And 27%, the next bucket was 2 to 5 rupees. So just a bare 15% of people are earning more than 5 rupees a word. And it's a representative sample because, there's just so many people who answered this poll. So there's a lot of folks at the bottom of the funnel. But if you also notice, a very interesting thing is no matter what you're earning today, there is somebody else who is earning more than you. And therefore, you have the chance to jump from whichever bucket you are into the next one and the next one and the next one, right? In terms of how you level up. So the reason, they're good at writing, they've got a good grasp of the language, like I said, they even find clients consistently. But the reason they're not able to charge so much is because they fail to deliver value, right? And when they fail to deliver value, it also means doing it consistently. You did one job which was awesome, that's fine, right? But if you are not able to deliver the same thing over and over again, eventually your client will say, sorry, this is not working out for me. Plus, on time is also very important, right? And in the program, I also talk about this. The reason people are outsourcing work to you is because they want to make life easy for themselves, because they don't have the time or the bandwidth available to do the work themselves or the skills, right? So that's why they want to outsource. So what you need to bring to the table is very simple common sense, right? You need to bring skills to the table. You need to be able to deliver the value that they want very consistently, and you have to give the deliverables to them on time, because when clients ask for content, typically nobody is creating random pieces of content, right? If you're especially working for big organizations, they have a content strategy and a plan in place, right? Which means in this month, on this day, at this time, we are going to run this campaign, this creative is going to go out, this email is going to go out. So they have all that chalked out for 3 to 6 months. And if you delay what you have to deliver, then they get, their bandwidth gets constrained and clients don't like it. So unfortunately, when and I worked with like lots and lots of freelancers before I started this course, and I was disappointed on all these three things several times, and which is one of the main reasons I launched the course, right? Cool. So if you're able to crack this, right, skill, value, timely delivery, then things just open up, right? And I wanted to share these screenshots with you just to sort of tell you what is possible. These are screenshots from my WhatsApp chats with my clients, right? So this is a 750 word article for 40 rupees per word. This is my client booking my slot in advance, saying, I know, because I keep refusing work that comes my way. Like last year, I refused work worth 25 lakh rupees, right? I just left that money on the table because I didn't have the bandwidth to deliver on those. So clients book me in advance saying, I know you're busy, but in the next month, please keep space for 6 articles for me, right? So total sellers market, they're like, we need you to do this, so please be available. This one, this was 8 LinkedIn posts, 50 words per post. Okay, that is all that is needed. And I charge, so the client said, are you going to charge 22,000 rupees for writing like 8 posts, which is like 400 words? And I said, if you want me to do it, then it's 2,750 per post. Because social media is annoyingly time consuming. I don't want to do it. If I'm spending time for you, then I'm going to charge for it. And then he said, okay, this is fine. Send the code tomorrow. Right. Um, Similarly, this one, right, where this is a 2,500 to 3,000 word report, $700. And if I write more, 500 word more, like any additional 500 words, I also charge an additional $135. So if you look at $700, which means how much? 50, almost 50K for 30,000, sorry, 2,500 or 3,000 words, right? Similarly, when my clients move from one place to another, they sort of take me along. So this was a client who joined a new company. He said, I've just joined this. Please drop me an introduction mail and I will get you registered. He moved me there, and today I have a standing retainer with them for 90,000 a month. Plus, they also send me work worth 50 to 60,000 additionally over on top of that, right? So when you make good relationships with clients, which happens because you're delivering good stuff to them consistently, they take you along wherever you go and you don't have to do business development. So for the last 3 to 4 years, I have not done any active business development because I've not needed to do it. My clients are like, okay, you come along, right? Um, and similarly here, right? You can upsell. Once you have a great relationship with a client, you can upsell. So I used to write video scripts for clients, and then I found a partner who does these amazing animation videos. So we said, okay, this sounds like a good value proposition. Let's pitch it to a client. So I pitched this to an existing client and I said, you know what, I'm going to charge you 2.5 lakhs per minute of video. And he said, that's a fair price, right? So the world works on relationships, and we are going to come to that as well. A lot of people tell me, we don't have relationships as of now. How many of you feel that, right? You don't have a network, you don't have relationships. Just like the right kind of professional relationships, just like type in the chat box. Okay, I can see some of you saying yes, we don't have an active network or good relationships. So if you don't have that, and those of you who've not typed yes, which means you already have a network. Now the question is, how do you start building it, right? And for those of you who are like consistently saying no active network, I don't have a network, start building it today. Because I'll give you a very important point, right? People buy from people. No, cold emails work fine. But if you send 50 cold emails, maybe you will get one conversion, which is a lot of time, lot of effort. If you invest in building a relationship, then that takes you much longer, much farther, and gives you more value, because once people start trusting you, they are willing to spend money with you, right? Um, so someone is saying I'm very bad in networking. Trust me, I am super bad in networking. Okay, I'm an introvert. It may not appear that way, but I am an introvert. And if you put me in a room full of people, I'll be like stuck to the wall. And somebody has to come forward and say hi to me, and then I get, start talking. But today, thankfully, you don't have to build networks in front of, like, face to face or anything. You can just like build a great LinkedIn network as well, right? Which is just about value sharing and sharing tips and sharing information. And people like that and people appreciate that. Nobody likes being sold to, but everybody likes being helped, right? So my motto is help people as much as you can, and that will result in business for you. Yeah. So some of you asking question, how do we build relationship or networking? Unfortunately, I don't have time to cover all that today. We are already like halfway through, but there are some, you know, some sessions which are there on my YouTube. You can go over that. Or if you join this program, we will cover this, in detail in the program as well, right? But for now, I'm moving on. And sometimes for me, work overflows, right? So I keep sending this to people. Someone is looking for a 6-week project. I don't have bandwidth. Do you want to take it up? And generally, dropped a 1.25 lakh retainer because I just didn't have the time. This is the chat with my partners where I'm like, added a couple of new clients last month, and they're like, where is the bandwidth? I'm like, I don't know, in some magical dimension. So work overflows, right? And this was, like I said, a snapshot. Actually, I should have updated this quarter, but this is April to June. The money I made, if you can see the figure at the bottom, that's 25 lakh 44,000. That was my income in the first quarter actually of this year. Um, and of course, in the second quarter, it's slightly more than this. And even better than this, actually, and I didn't include that screenshot, was so one of the people who joined my second batch of this program, she sent me an invoice last month, and it was for 1,08,000 rupees. So in 1 month, she had done work worth 1,08,000 for me. And I was so happy to see that invoice because it's actually what I'm teaching people, translating into money for them, right? So more than my profit and loss statement, I was more interested in her invoice. And some of those folks, I'll show you, the success stories. But I also want to show you, that it wasn't always like this. So if you see this room, it's actually like the whole house. I grew up here. My first, like, 18 till I was 18, I lived in this one room with my mom and my sister. Um, it didn't even have like an attached bathroom or a kitchen. So if you want to go to the bathroom, you have to come out and go in. If you want to go to the kitchen, come out and go to the kitchen. And this was in Jaipur, okay? So it used to be freezing cold or like super hot. But we lived here. We didn't live. This bed was like the place we slept, the place we ate. Like obviously, there's no space for dining table. We had no TV, no nothing. Um, and my mom worked 2 jobs to get us a good education, though she sent us to the best school in town. Um, and what she also did was encourage reading. Okay, so if you want to be a content writer, you must read. There is just no shortcut to it. Yes, you can read faster. There's a speed reading webinar again available on my YouTube channel. You can read faster, but you must read, right? So my mom encouraged reading, and that's where actually the foundations of my success were laid, right? Because we would read these secondhand books, we would get 50 paisa as pocket money, and we'll run to the rental shop and get those books on rent, and just me and my sister, we both would just spend all the time reading. Nobody in my family spoke English. Um, I have learned what I know from reading those books, and not being afraid of talking in a language that wasn't my native language, right? So you just have to practice. And I'm sorry, but there's no shortcut to it. If you feel that English is not your strength, or the language that you want to write in is not your strength, you've got to start working on it. Yeah. And very clear disclaimer, the program that I run, the mentorship program, is not about teaching folks the basics of English. It is about teaching folks, if you're at a certain level in content writing, how do you jump to the next rung, right? So it's specifically about what it takes to be a highly paid content writer, and not just any content writer. Okay, so there are certain, which is why it's an application process. So there are certain hygiene factors I will take note of. I ask you to rank your English skills. Uh, and that becomes obviously a filtering criteria as well, because I'm not an English teacher. But that is definitely something you will need to put effort and you know your time in. So cool. Um, so while I was doing all this, right, like building my career, um, and I had an interesting journey. Like, I'm an engineer, I did my MBA all through like education loans. Um, and after that, I landed into, so my career has been a little up and down. Like the first company I joined, that was Satyam, and I don't know how many people know it, but that just like 1.5 years after I joined it, the company went down. It's Tech Mahindra today. So I had to find a new job in recession. That was 2007, 2008, those times. So it's been a very interesting journey. But finally, when it was 2015 when I finally found my calling and I became an entrepreneur and I started doing this whole writing thing. And then I found that, success comes with ownership. So you have to own your success. You can't sit and wait for somebody else to bring success to you. You have to take decisive action to make sure you're going in the direction that you want to go to. right? And I also noticed that every time you want to take a step in a direction which is a little risky, there will be a lot of naysayers, right? They'll tell you, don't do this, this sounds very risky. But unless you take, so risk and reward are proportional. So unless you take a risk, you won't get an equally proportional reward. I'm not saying go jump off a window right now, but um, live a little vicariously, right? So all the career decisions I've made till now have been very um random if another person looks like it, but they've all taken me to the direction that I wanted to go in. And my mother still thinks that I do nothing because she doesn't understand this content writing space at all. She's like, what are you doing? But I'm like, okay, I'm making money. That's, that should be about it. She's like, you just sit in front of this laptop the whole day. What is this? So yeah, parents might not understand, family might not understand, but this is where I find joy in, right? So you take responsibility for your own success and then you move forward with it, right? And you've got to take a little risk for it to be, uh, uh you know, to actually get big gains. And sometimes, someday, maybe if you join the program, etc., because we have these random conversations about life and everything, I'll tell you my life story and how I took like super mega risks to actually be in a good place in life. But that's a story for another day, nothing to do with content writing. That's to do with my son and how he came to be. But yeah. Okay. So to be successful, what I did was I figured out the gap in the market, that where is it that my skills will be most useful. I practiced my skill and tested it out, right? So I never ask people to quit their jobs and then, become content writers. I'm like, try it as a side hustle, see who is willing to pay you, how much they're willing to pay you. Is it a sustainable income? What can you do, right? So test out what is working, what's not, because we might think that we're awesome, but the other person, the client, might say, I don't need this kind of content, right? So there are those moments as well when you realize, oops, I was wrong, and maybe this is not going to work out. And that's fine, right? But test out whatever you're trying to do. And then I finally jumped in with both feet and built a personal brand, right? And I see some of you are typing in the chat, about risk and reward are proportional and take calculated risk. So yes, this whole practicing your skill and testing it out is about taking the calculated risk. Uh, so like I said, my business built really quickly. In 2015, I actually started an agency with 2 more people. In my first year, we did 1 crores in revenue with just 4 people. And by the time I quit that company, because my son was born and I wanted to spend more time with him. So I said, I can't do these 10, 12-hour work days. I'm just going to sit at home and chill and do what works for me. So by the time I quit that company, we were 40 people and we were making 4 to 5 crores in revenues. And when I quit the company, I started from scratch again, right? But that time I had a 3-month-old baby. And I had no clients because when I quit the other company, my partners made me sign a non-compete agreement, which said any of the clients that we are working with, you can't work with them for the next 2 years, right? Which means while I had the network, I couldn't access the network. So those of you who ask questions on how do we go about building a network, right? So I didn't have, like, I had a network, but I couldn't access it. So I activated the second layer of that, right? And I said, can you connect me to someone who wants content? And I did lots of random stuff, right? Today my niche is tech, but I wrote on laundry detergents and fabric softeners and perfumes and wines and real estate. I've written all sorts of stuff in those beginning days. But even then, in my first year, alone, working alone from home with a three-month-old baby, I made 40 lakhs in revenue. Next year, made 80 lakhs. Third year, made 1 crore. And then that's where I figured that my bandwidth, that was a plateau, right? In first year, I had a double growth, and the next year, I just could add only 20 lakhs to it. So I realized I'm not able to take on more projects because I don't have the bandwidth to do it. And that's when I wanted to build a better team. And I did a lot of interviews, right? I scanned a lot of resumes, checked out a lot of content writer samples, spoke to a lot of people, but I couldn't find anyone who could do a good job. And so I met Didi. I'm sure some of you have heard of him, Digital Deepak. And he was running a business coaching program that time. And I said, listen, I have a problem. I need to hire people very urgently. and could you help me, right? So we tried to figure out maybe from his network, because he has a big email list, can I have a few content writers? But that didn't work. So he said, why don't you train them yourself? And that's where the Content Collective was born, and that's why you were attending the webinar here today. And this number is also a little older. I checked today, there are 20,000 plus people who have taken my 30-day free email course, and they've rated it 9.5 out of 10. Lots of good positive reviews that are coming in. And based on this, there was a lot of requests. So initially, when people were joining the Content Collective, I was asking them, do you want personal mentorship from me? And 70% of the people said yes. And because they said yes, I launched this 8-week program. We've done 3 cohorts. Actually, the 4th one just started last week. And over 60 plus people have been a part of this program. And I've given them opportunities to work with me. Any guesses on how much in the last 5 months, how much money I've sent their way? Put it in the chat window. 5 lakhs? No. 1 lakh? No. 25 lakhs? Almost. 10 to 15. Yes. That's a little closer. So in the last 5 months, I have shared 12 lakhs plus of opportunities with them. And here are some of them, right? And few of them are now working almost full time with me. So Fahim is a full time, person in my team. My company is called Uptrack Consulting. When he came to me, he had zero experience in content writing. He used to be in sales and marketing, and he had a furniture business of all things in Dubai. And when the COVID thing happened, he obviously came back, and he was looking for something else to do. And when he came across my program, and that's when he joined me. And in the second month of the cohort, without even finishing it, he earned his first 40,000. And till date, he's done over like close to 4 lakhs now. Sai is another example. She's fantastic. She also came from a tech background, but she has zero experience in content. In the second month of the cohort, I gave her a project worth 1.5 lakhs. Today, I think this number is close to 3 lakh, what she's made. Vijay is another person who's amazing. He's actually a principal in a college, and he's been a blogger for many years. He's written over 300 blogs, I think, and he wanted to get a more, exposure in professional content writing. So even this number is higher. I think it's over 1.2, maybe, I think now. So he's earned that much from those courses. This is actually a very good this is like a heartwarming story for me, because when Vinay came to me, he was like, Zubir ma'am, I don't speak English. I write in a vernacular language, which is a fantastic market, by the way. But I said, I've tried to make the course language agnostic. It's not about, like I said, not about how well you speak a language, but how well you communicate. And that's what the course is all about, right? How well are you putting your clients' messages across? So once he did the course, he went for a job interview. And he was the only one who asked the question that I asked everybody in the cohort to, get from clients. And because of that, they offered him double the salary than what was actually mentioned in the interview. And when he shared that story, I was like, again, super happy. So that is, those are also possible. And I actually want you to hear from 2 people live who've been a part of the cohort. So Raghunath, are you here? Let me just quickly check if he is. Okay, I'm gonna give you 1 second. Sorry. Okay, hey. Raghunath is writing a book, by the way. So.
Hey, Supriya, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I can.
Yeah.
So, would you mind sharing your experience? Tell them a little bit about yourself, about the course, and how it helped.
Sure. Absolutely. So I'm a management consultant and also an author. A couple of my books have been bestsellers on
Award-winning
Amazon.
author.
Yeah, I did get an award at a national level in an event in Delhi, June this year. And after that, I immediately signed up for Supriya's course because as she just said, I wanted to reach the next level. In fact, I wanted to go solopreneur route, just like how Supriya did for herself. So I wanted to know more information of how she did it. And I also wanted to get some feedback on my work on how I can improve it. So fast forward after the course, a lot has changed for me. In fact, I have even changed my writing style to a very conversational style now. That's how I think the content is engaging with the readers. And all the frameworks and the templates that she has shared, even for outreach, article writing framework, and storytelling frameworks, all of that is, I think, amazing value that you will get as part of this cohort. And even though you might be a content writer for a long time, if you really want to, get to the next level, providing higher value to your clients and also charge premium pricing, I think you should take her support. This is an investment that if you are a professional content writer, you can make up in a fairly short span of time, just as how many other people have done it in her cohort. So I truly rate this experience as 10 on 10 with all the value that you are getting. It's an investment that you will surely not regret. And lastly, I am writing my third book. I shared this idea with Supriya on the call that you will get as part of this cohort as well. It's a very personalized call trying to address any of your problems. So she suggested that I can leverage her network. And that's how I'm doing my third book now. I've been interviewing a lot of people that she has provided from her entrepreneur network. And I'm really enjoying this journey. In addition to her referrals, I've also got many other referrals as part of this exciting journey that I've had initially with her close entrepreneur network. So it's just spiraling out to many other entrepreneurs, and I'm getting connected to really wonderful people and learning a lot from this. I don't think it would have been possible without Supriya's support. So I really thank her for helping me out. And I just want to advise everyone who's on this call to not think a lot and just sign up because this is going to be a really good investment for your professional career. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raghunath. Thanks for that. And I have to tell people that after we had that discussion about the book, where I gave a lot of gyan to Raghunath, he leveled up and he joined my mastermind program, which is starting in January, which was actually a surprise because I didn't think that, he'll be interested in that. But he's like, I want to transfer your brains or something like that. Okay.
Yeah, I just thought this was it. But when I heard you had more to give, then I was like, I need more from you.
So awesome. Thank you, Raghunath.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Hey, Lakshdeep, are you here? Can I put you on maybe for a quick? Hi.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi, Lakshdeep.
Yeah, hello. So,
would you mind sharing your experience?
Yeah. So, hello everyone. I am Lakshdeep and I am co-founder of agency WebEasy. So, we are a marketing agency and we offer lead generation services to our clients. And as you all would know that the one thing that is common in lead generation, any type of marketing we are doing, content is an important aspect of it. So I wanted to learn about content writing and had some doubts like how much we can be dependent on AI while writing our content. And I was always confused that how can we write long form content? What is the right strategy? And after joining this cohort, I got better clarity on that once you have developed the habit of having creative thoughts, you are doing the right research, then you can use AI to leverage your content. And another doubt that I always had about writing long form content, for that in this cohort we had many frameworks that helped us how to write, how to make a proper structure for our content, how to decide everything before writing the content. We could take it as an example, like before having a workout at the gym, we have to warm up. So in the same way, we have to have a good structure before writing the actual article or the blog that we are actually planning to write. And one thing that I would mention here is that I would be honest with everyone here that the amount that I have invested in the cohort, I have got maybe more than 6 times return from that, because I had confidence to work on more writing projects and got it through Supriya, and I had guidance to work on them through Supriya. So I would recommend anyone on this call who is just starting out, or even if you are experienced, to go for this cohort, and this will be a life-changing experience. One thing I still remember on the first call, Supriya mentioned I was very confused that what should be the right approach for writing content, and should I take it long term or how should it go. So she mentioned one thing that I will always remember, that as writers, it is not necessary that always we have to write from scratch. So it is in this way that we have to present the information that is already available on the internet in the best way possible. If I remember it correctly, Supriya.
Sorry, I was like, channel your clients' words, right? Because you're writing for them. You don't have to be the expert. Let them be the experts and, use their voice.
Yes.
So yeah, no idea is a new idea. Everything is in presentation, the
Yes.
way you put it forward.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you very much for
Thank
everything
you.
and all the referrals that are coming in.
Yeah, we were actually having a chat today as well for another client that
Yes,
popped
just
in.
I think
Yeah.
around 8 we had a chat about the new
Yeah.
client coming
Yeah.
in. Yes.
Super. Thank you so much, Lakshdeep.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Cool. So I just wanted you to hear from people who've been a part of this cohort and what they've experienced. Let me go back to the deck and I will answer your questions. I can see some things in the Q&A box, so I'll definitely get to it. So just to sum it up, to get started on your journey as a content writer, you need to first cut the clutter and focus on the essentials of, what does it take? Don't run in 20 different directions like headless chickens. Get focused, get like very clear on what you need to do. Build your skills, mindset, systems, and processes around that goal. Understand what your clients want and how to deliver it, and this is where 90% of content writers fail. Actually 99% of content writers fail because they don't understand what the clients want, and then they don't know, if even if they understand, how do I package it in a way that the client loves it, right? And finally, of course, because we live in the age of ChatGPT, leverage AI to your advantage, which doesn't mean just let AI do all your work, but use it strategically, use it to improve your productivity, to reduce the time that you spend on a lot of different things, and which is also something that we cover in the cohort. And at the same time, learn how to write the good stuff, create an awesome portfolio that you can use to showcase that stuff, and then reach out to the right clients with that portfolio, right? So that's essentially what you need to be a highly paid content writer, and that's what I cover in the 8-week intensive as well. So I'm going to take the next few minutes to talk about the 8-week intensive and tell you what we cover in this program and what you get. And by the end of it, I will also show you. I'll share the application form. So if you're interested, you can apply. And we'll get back to you, right? Somebody from the team will connect with you, have an interview, and we'll go from there. Cool. So it is an 8-week program, like the name says. And in the first week, so I've tried to divide it into 2 parts. One is the quality of content, and the other is finding the right clients, right? So the first week is about introduction and goal setting. The second week, and goal setting is very important, right? Because I feel that if you don't know where you're going, you will run in 20 different directions and you'll not end up achieving anything at all, right? So goal setting for me is very, very important. So we're going to talk about how do you set the right goals for yourself as a content writer. Second is understanding the challenges, right? Why do content writers face certain challenges, and what are those challenges which are like holding you back? These are to do with writing as a skill and not, mindset challenges. These are more to do with why writing is such a difficult thing to do, right? Why content writing is difficult. In the third week, we talk about intent, like what is the point of the content that you're writing, and how do you ask the right questions from your client so that you're very clear, you're crystal clear on what you need to do. Then we move on to the writing fundamentals, which is how do you structure content and what are the various types and forms, etc. Then we dive into research and storytelling. So how do you research effectively and quickly? And then how do you tell the right stories and how do you tell them well? In week 6, we also talk about a few different forms of content, though if I'm being very honest, once you understand the first 5 weeks, writing any sort of content becomes easy. But just because folks want more clarity, I also cover like writing emails, writing video scripts, writing social media posts, etc. So you'll get an insight into how do you write all of that. Then we also focus more on how do you create an awesome portfolio and where do you go find the right clients. And finally, we talk about how do you price your services, what is the kind of documentation you need to make sure that you're getting paid, that you're appearing professional, and of course, what are the ethics of a good content writer, because that's also very, very important, right? So we will talk about all of this. And I know that there are a few questions in the chat box. Millie, Sumit, I will come back to those questions once I run you through this. And I'm sure some of these slides might answer a few questions. So this time, the 8-week program is slightly different from the first 4 batches that I have done. And it comes at a better value. So what you get in the 8-week program is 18 recorded sessions, 1 week unlocks at a time, so that you can spend good enough time on each and every video. You get 4 live calls with me during the batch for Q&A. But the best part is I keep doing these calls every month, right? For the 8-week program community. There are 2 calls that happen every month, even after you have finished your batch. For the next 1 year, you can be a part of any of these calls, which means almost 24 calls with me is what you get. In addition, you also get 16 live calls with program mentors, right? Who are people who've already been through this program, who have made big money using the learnings in this program, who consistently work with me and now are a part of my team. And they will coach you through. So the recorded sessions are my sessions, and these mentors will answer questions that you might have about the videos, about anything. And of course, you can, get Q&A, your questions answered anytime with me as well. Plus, you get all the recordings of the previous cohorts. So anybody, everybody has different questions, right? So anytime you have time, you can go access all of these recordings and see what other people are asking, and maybe you have a similar question and that gets also answered there. You also get a lot of guides and worksheets to apply these concepts. You become a part of this exclusive WhatsApp group, which is where I preferably share all the opportunities that are coming my way. Again, a disclaimer: the finding clients part is not a part of the cohort, right? I want to be very honest, very transparent. It is not my job to find you clients, right? It's my job to teach you how to find clients, but it is you who has to put in the effort. But at the same time, anytime I get an opportunity my way, like how I was discussing with Lakshdeep and a few other people, in fact, another lady who joined my cohort last week, today I had a chat with her about an opportunity worth 1.25 lakhs. Like, she's just paid me the money, and I'm almost closing the deal on a 1.25 lakh kind of project with her. So I will share those opportunities, but I will be democratic about it. So I will send the opportunity. I ask people to send samples and their quote on the opportunity, and then based on that, I pick the best fit. Okay. But yes, the opportunities will open, and it's up to you how you hustle, how you create good quality content, and you win those opportunities. You also get, unlike previous cohorts, multiple practice assignments, which then the mentors will guide you through, and they will also give feedback on your assignments so you can learn in the process of writing. Because it's my strong belief that you can't learn writing by just listening to me, right? You have to put it in practice. You have to get feedback to see what's working and what's not working. And once you get the feedback, then you have to improve it. And only then the learning stays, right? So it's not, you know, it's not going to be a passive program. You've got to be present for it to learn from it. And we will do our best to make it an amazing learning experience for you and something that you can actually apply in real life. Yeah. So that's all that I had to say today. I'm going to get to your questions now. I will also share this application form link in the chat window. And it's a detailed application form because I want to get to know you before I make you a part of the program. So while I share, oh, Fahim has already shared it, but wait, I will share it as well. Okay, so there is a link to the application for batch 5 in your chat window. So you can go and apply here. And then, like I said, we will get in touch. Now I'm going to spend the next 5-10 minutes or even 15 minutes if you guys are happy to stay on to answer your questions. You can ask me questions about your, the program. You can ask me questions about content writing or anything that is topic related. I see some of you have raised your hands. I won't be able to put you online, but you can put your questions in the chat box or in the Q&A box, and I'm going to take them one by one, right? So Millie is asking, I want to work from home. Is that possible? Yes, Millie, I have been working from home since 2018. I haven't stepped out of my house, I guess. This is my workspace. You can see I'm sitting in my living room and all of my conversations and all my content creation happens from here. So it's totally possible to work from home. Kiran is asking, is there a scope for regional language content writer? Kiran, I think there's a big scope for vernacular content. And I gave you the example of Vinay. So he's doing pretty good now. And I think all of these regional language publications or magazines, etc., or companies who are targeting regional language. For example, there's an app called SimSim, which has regional language influencers in it. So they need content in those languages as well. So there is definitely a big market. You just need to know where to go find those clients, right? Okay. Another question is, how do you create an awesome portfolio? Sumit, there is actually a video on my YouTube channel. Fahim, is it possible for you to share the link to my YouTube playlist as well? So on that question, that I specifically answer how do you create an awesome portfolio. And like I said, in the 8-week program, there is one module entirely dedicated to building your portfolio. I'll tell you how to do it. Then you'll create the portfolio and the mentors will also give you feedback on how do you improve it. Plus, I will also give you some email templates that you can just modify for yourself and send out to your clients, right? Okay. Kaushik is asking, how did you learn content writing and who was my mentor? So I didn't learn it anywhere, Kaushik. I have never attended a content writing course per se. It just happened to me because, like I said, the foundations of it were laid in my childhood where I read voraciously. I didn't even know I could write till I actually happened to be in a place where I had to write one blog for my CEO. It was a big IT company. And that turned out fantastic. And he loved it. And he said, you're going to write all my blogs and all my speeches and everything from now on. And that's when I realized, this is something that I can monetize. So that's where my journey on content writing started. And as I started working with clients and brands, today I've worked with over 60 clients in various different spaces in terms of content interventions. And I realized that I'm really, really good at it. And which is why in this program, what I'm trying to tell folks is how to be really, really good at it. What is it that really matters to your clients, right? And which is why it's also my strong belief. A lot of people ask me, which books can I read to become a content writer? Read any book that you can get your hands on. It's not about reading about content writing, but it's about reading everything and anything that you can get your hands on, which will make you a good writer. So reading is also a big part of, being in this cohort. Okay. Alok is asking, I'm a beginner copywriter. I write email copy. Will this program help? So Alok, there is a module on email writing in this program as well. But like I said, what I am trying to address in the program is not what is the form of content you're writing, but in any content you write, what are the mistakes everybody is making and how to overcome those, right? Once you understand the fundamentals of that, then whether you're writing email or video or articles or blogs, all of that gets fixed, right? So it is more broad based that way, because I feel at some level, after talking to so many people and after listening to questions from this 1,000 strong community, I know that the foundations are where most of the time people are making a mistake, and that's what I'm trying to address. Okay. Does the content writer also have to take care of SEO part of the article? Okay, I'm going to do a video on this because I keep getting this question again and again. Now, again, it depends on your client. If you're working with a smaller client, they typically want writers to also be SEO experts, and then merge the two capabilities and give something to the client as one package. But I don't know anything about SEO, okay? And I'm running a business worth a few crores in just by doing content writing. So how I do SEO is I tell the client, you have a digital team, you find or you get a digital marketing agency, you give me the keywords and I'll weave them into the content. But finding the keywords and all that is not my job. Yeah. So that is where that's the extent of SEO that I do, and my clients don't mind it because they're like, okay, fine, we have another agency, or we could do that. I would say if you have the bandwidth, go for it, or better still, find a partner who can do it with you. So together you can come to the client with a stronger value proposition. Yes, that we are a one-stop shop and we can do everything for you, but it's not like super essential. Yeah. I always I believe in delegating. You can be good at one, like super good at one thing. You can't be super good at 10 things. So if you're not good at something, just find a partner to do that with you. Like I gave you the video animation example, right? I can't do animation to save my life, but I have someone who can do it fantastically. So together we can make a better value proposition, which is giving us 2.5 lakhs for a minute worth of video, which is amazing, right? Cool. Is around 2 to 3 hours a day is enough for this program? Yeah, I think that should be, because we are effectively asking for 2 hours of your time per week, and then an additional 2 hours per month, for the call with me. And then you have to spend some time on your assignments. If you sit on maybe like a Saturday, half a day should be enough for you to do a weekly assignment kind of a thing. So it should be enough. Okay. Do I get a one-on-one conversation with you during the 8-week intensive program? So for this batch, unfortunately, no, but I will send you all, once you're done with the program, I will send you an offer. And if you take me up on that offer, I will do a one-on-one call with you, right? So the options are always open. And you can ask anybody from the previous programs. I'm always willing to help as much as my bandwidth also allows. But okay. Will this program focus on copywriting as well, or only content writing? So it is a little bit of both. I'm going to dive into power words and those kind of things. And like I said, video, web pages, etc., email, they're all copywriting. So we will cover some part of it, but the majority of the foundations will be more focused on content writing. Okay. So anyone who's asking about the fees, first apply. Let us see if your application goes through. And then Fahim will get in touch with you, or somebody else from the team will get in touch with you, explain to you everything that you need to know, and then they will also share the fee details with you. And then this is a no strings attached call. So you can then decide whether you want to be a part of this or not. Yeah. Okay, so I have answered a few questions. Ravi is asking, I live abroad currently in Dubai. Any constraints? Actually, interestingly, my batch 4 is a very global batch. Okay, I have people from Dubai, I have people from the US, I have people from I think somewhere in Europe, who are also like a part of the cohort. So I don't think where you're based is any challenge. Timing might be an issue, but I haven't faced that till now. Like everybody is attending calls. I don't think timing is also an issue. And this time we're also planning to do one class which is on weekends because a lot of people get more time then. So you'll be able to uh, participate for sure. Okay. So Shruti is asking, I run an online foreign language platform, would like to learn content writing to reach out to my prospective students. Okay, so Shruti, if you want to reach out to your prospective students, this program may not be the best fit for you because what I am teaching folks, most of the program, like a big chunk of the program is focused on how do you write for other people to make money, right? Yes, there are a few people in the cohort who I have, very clearly outlined that I'm teaching you how to write for other people and make money from it. But there are some people who want to write for themselves and are still in the cohort. Fahim, maybe you could, Shruti Mehra, maybe you could connect her to one of those folks and she can get a sense from them directly. Because like week 2, 3, 4 are definitely focused on how do you write better content. But finding clients is not something that you might want to do, or creating a portfolio is maybe not something you might want to do. So I'll leave that to you to take a call. Okay. Yeah, so Ravi, like I said, if you're good at English as a language, then that's fantastic because that's one of the filtering criteria as well. Like I said, my job is not to teach anyone English. I will consider, language command, or if you're vernacular, you need to let me know that that's vernacular. The course is language agnostic because we're not talking about how to write well in English. We're talking about how to write any content better for it to be able to achieve client outcomes, right? So those are two very different things, and we are going to cover that. Okay. I already answered this. Praneeth is asking, how do I apply? So I have shared a link in the chat window. I'm going to share that again, and you can apply on that link. 1 second, just sharing it again. In the chat window, there's a link to the application form. You can click on this and you can fill in your details and we will get in touch. So, okay, there are a lot of questions in the chat window also. I'm just going to go through that. Does cold emailing work that much? Like I said, cold emailing definitely works. A lot of people are using that every day. They're sending almost 200 emails a day and then converting clients based on that. I don't prefer that as a way to finding clients because I feel when you build a network and a relationship and reach out to clients, you get better value projects and long-lasting projects, right? Thank you, Devashri. She said, love your story, very inspirational. So thank you. She's asking, what will the research part cover? So we will cover, so in research, what I'm covering is one, it's not going to cover interview-based content as such from my module standpoint, but if you have a question on that in the Q&A call, you can ask me and I will explain to you that as well. But my intent on research was what I figured is a lot of people get lost researching, right? They spend so much time researching, but they don't find the right answers. They think that they need to go to paid databases to actually get the right answers. So I'm trying to bust those myths and actually showing how you can research quickly, efficiently, and still write content which is, quite data-driven, fact-driven, those kind of things, right? Okay. How do you find a first client for my content writing? I'm going to cover that in the course. Amtul, she's joined this webinar 10 minutes back when I want to run content writing. I'm sorry, but I can't repeat all of what I have said. Apply to the program and then we'll see, like Fahim will have a conversation with you and he'll explain what I just said. Super. So I don't see. Someone is asking, I will join a later batch. How can I stay updated on it? If you're a part of the 30-day email course list, then you will get a notification on when the next batch is happening and you can join that. And so someone is saying I'm allergic to people, so communications are hard, but writing is enjoyable. Is there a way to fix this problem and will it be covered? So in this program, I will not cover how do you know, be okay speaking to people. But what I also do on the side, not as a part of the program, is I figured, to succeed as a content writer, everybody else is struggling with a lot of issues, right? Fear of rejection, uncertain future, like you said, inability to talk to people. A lot of people don't even want to come on video. So I'm doing these forum calls. I think one of them is happening next week as well, where we just talk about these issues and see how can we collaboratively work and fix them. So I think one of the more important parts of this whole thing is the community and the connections that you build, and people have made so many friends and you learn from each other as well. So that will be maybe something that could, work for you. Super. So I think I have covered almost all the questions. Thank you so much for being here today and for asking questions. And I hope to see you some of you in the December batch that is starting on 18th of December. So yay. Thank you. Good night and have a great rest of the week. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.